welcome back to the Distressed Princess. I'm Rhonda, and here are the DIYs I'm working on today. For the first DIY, I'm using this tote bag that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to turn it over and cut the back side off because I want to use just the plain side. I'm also using some ribbon that I got at the Burlap Fabric Company. I will leave a link in my description box if you want to take a look at their shop. They have all kinds of ribbon, burlap as you can imagine, and other linens to craft with. You'll also need one dowel from this package that you get from the Dollar Tree. And you will need a piece of denim, and I got this old denim dress from Goodwill. So the first step is to cut the handles off of the plain side of the bag, and you won't need those, and then cut the whole back side of the bag out. I guess it might be better to say cut the design off of the front of the bag because I wanted to leave the folded edges. That way I would have a nice clean edge on the piece that I'm working on. Next, I'm cutting the ribbon in pieces to go across the width of the bag. When I got close to the top of the bag, I wanted to leave room for a square piece of the denim. So here I'm kind of looking how big I wanted to make my square piece of denim, and I think I went 7 inches long by 5 inches tall. Then I drew my 5 by 7 square onto the denim and cut it out. I wanted my square piece of denim to look a little old and rustic, just like the ribbon, and so I frayed the edges. With your design already laid out, now just hot glue everything down. Next, you'll use one of those dowels from the Dollar Tree to put at the top of your piece. And this is so that when it hangs, if at like a wall hanging, it will be more sturdy, substantial, and your fabric won't be folding in on itself. Now, I made a slight mistake. I hot glued this dowel down to the fabric prematurely. I shouldn't have hot glued it just yet. You'll see in just a second. I'm going to use some jute string to tie and make a hanger for it to hang on. And yeah, I just had to pry my dowel up that I had just hot glued down in order to get my jute string tied on. So learn from my mistake. Don't hot glue the dowel down first. Tie the jute string first. And then you can hot glue the dowel rod down. And so just that easy, you have a patriotic wall hanging. For the next DIY, you will need the large canvas from the Dollar Tree, a blue color pencil, a red color pencil, and a black marker that's good for writing. You'll also need to know the Pledge of Allegiance. Do you remember it? So the first thing you need to do is remove the canvas from the frame and So this time I actually did remove the staples. I pried them out with a small screwdriver and then pulled them out with my needle nose pliers. Now that the canvas is removed, you will need to cut the size down to fit the frame. And for this project, I actually liked the more natural color side of the canvas as opposed to the bright white side. Then I wanted to stain the canvas, and I'm using Waverly Wax in Antique, and I'm going to use a baby wipe to apply it. And this gives a really nice stained look without it being too heavy. It looks more natural. Now the really fun part is turning this canvas into an old looking piece of paper. And so I'm marking off every ½ inch with my blue colored pencil. And then using your ruler as a straight edge, draw your lines across the whole piece of fake paper. Once your blue lines are drawn, now you need to put your frame on top so you know where you need your red line that goes on the left side of the sheet of paper to go. And then I just eyeballed it. I didn't measure anything. I just kind of looked to see where I felt like it should go, and I made a little mark. And then I used my ruler again to draw a straight red line down the left side. Then you will need to put your frame on top so that you will know which line to start writing on. And you're going to write the Pledge of Allegiance on this piece of paper. At the bottom, I wanted there to be a design, and I decided on a round circle of stars. So I used one of my Waverly chalk paint jars to use as a template, and I just marked little black dots where the stars would go all around the jar. And then I just turned those dots into stars. And in the center of the stars, I put the year of our nation's birth, 1776. And then the last part is to hot glue the frame onto the canvas. The next DIY is another sign, and I'm using this chalkboard that I picked up at the Dollar General store. It was $3.75, but I thought it was well worth it for its good size. I wanted to paint the frame, so I taped off the chalkboard so I wouldn't get any paint on it. And I painted it with Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen white, and it was just one quick coat. And before you write on your chalkboard, you'll want to season it with an actual piece of chalk. And that's just rubbing the chalk all over it and then wiping it off with a paper towel or cloth. I'm using the chalk writer that you get at the Dollar Tree. It's not a marker, so it can be erased and changed, but it's kind of like a crayon consistency. But anyway, you get it at the Dollar Tree, and I'm writing Home of the Brave on my chalkboard. And I hope that I get to learn lettering a little better sometime soon. Then after I got my lettering done, I realized that I did want a little distressing on the frame. So I'm going back in with some Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm going to just lightly brush some around the edges and then a little bit on top of the frame for a little wood grain effect. At the bottom, underneath my wording, I wanted there to be a bow, and I'm going to do just a really simple ribbon bow that's just 3 pieces of ribbon, and it's the same ribbon I used in my first DIY. And I'm just going to crisscross them and tie them in the center with a piece of jute string. But the bow felt kind of plain on the chalkboard by itself, and I needed some blue added. So I'm going to take this little flag, and I kind of feel bad for cutting this flag. I was raised never to destroy a flag, but here I go. Anyway, I cut the blue part with the stars off of the flag. I hot glued the blue part with the stars to the bottom center, and then I hot glued the bow on top of that. Next, I would like to share with you a couple of my very favorite 4th of July easy flower arrangements. And I like to use white hydrangeas, so there's your white. And in this one, I want to use a blue mason jar, so you've got your white and your blue. And then all you have to do is add a flag to your arrangement, and you have a really cute country 4th of July flower arrangement. And for the other really easy flower arrangement, I like to use a clear mason jar and some eucalyptus. And I found this sprig at the Target dollar spot. Then you want to add a flag. And I also added some more of that red stripe ribbon from the Burlap Company. And I think that the clear mason jar makes it a more classic 4th of July look. And here's another look at all the quick and easy 4th of July decorations today. Have a safe and happy 4th of July weekend, everyone. Thanks for stopping by to see me. If you want to see more DIYs, click on the link right here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.